Our learning target today is going to be split into two. Your notes with this title, and to draw the number line below, starting with 5, with the tick marks of 4 in the middle, and ending with 6. And then hit play. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out what number is point A on this number line. When I look at this number line, there's a point between a 5 and a 6. Now there are a lot of numbers between 5 and 6 on this number line, but we only have 4 tick marks, so we have to figure out what this number line is counting by. We've done this with fractions before, but today we're going to do it with decimals. This is how I attack a question like this. Looking at the numbers 5 and 6, what would be numbers in between? What I do is I make this 5 into a 50 by adding a 0. I'm going to do the same thing to the 6. I'm going to change it to a 60. Now looking at this number line, I need to think of numbers between 50 and 60 and what they're counting by on the number line. If I counted by ones and did 51, 52, 53, 54, 55 would be right here, but that's not going to work. So I'm going to erase those and try counting by twos. 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60. It worked. So that's part of my process. The second part is when I added these zeros here, I don't want to change what the 5 is worth. The 5 and the 50 are two different numbers, so I have to put a decimal in right here because the number 5 and the number 5.0 are worth the same amount. So I didn't change the number, I just changed what it looked like. I'm going to do the same thing on the 6.0, and with all my other numbers, 5.2, 5.4, 5.6, 5.8. Now I know the value of point A. It's 5.8. We're going to tackle our other number lines the same way. In your notes, I want you to copy this number line. It starts with a 3, it ends with a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's 9 points in between, or 9 tick marks in between. And I'm going to use the same process. Thinking of numbers between 3 and 4, I'm going to make this easier. I'm going to add a 0 to the 3 to make it 30, and I'm going to add a 0 to 4 to make it 40. Now that makes it easier for me to think of numbers between 30 and 40. I'm going to start with ones. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. You know what? My first try worked. Now remember, I don't want to change the value of my 3. 3 and 30 aren't the same amount, so I'm going to put my decimal here because 3 and 3.0 are the same value. Do the same thing with my 4, 4.0, and I'm going to go add my decimals in on all of my 3's so that they don't change in value. Perfect. So my answer for point B is 3.2. My last example is this number line. I need to think of a number between 9 and 10. I'm going to change this to 90 and 100. Numbers between 90 and 100 with only one tick mark in the middle: 90, 95, 100. It worked out just fine. I'm counting by 5s, but really, I'm not. I'm going to go back and add my decimal so I don't change my value. So 9.0 and 10.0. I'm going to change this to 9.5. I put all my decimals in so I didn't change my value. The answer to C is 9.5. That's how you figure out what a number is on a number line in decimal form. The second part of this learning target, in our notes, we're going to write find decimal numbers between. I'm going to give you two numbers, and you have to give me a number in between. For example, if I use the numbers 4 and 6, I could find a number between. 5 is in between, but so is 5.1. And so is 5.9. There's lots of numbers in between. Write down this example. I need a number between 7.1 and 7.2. It looks like there isn't any numbers between those. But again, I'm going to make these numbers a little longer. I'm going to add zeros to the ends. And I'm thinking, this kind of looks like 710. This looks like 720. Can you think of a number in between those two? I can. I'm going to pick 715. Now remember, there are decimals after the 7, so I'm going to put mine back in. So my answer is 7.15. There are more answers than this, 7.11, 7.12, and 7.13, for example. Take a look at this example. I need a number between 9.41 and 9.5. The first thing I notice is that these numbers are not the same length. This one has 3 digits, this one only has 2. So my first goal is to make them the same length. I need to make 9.5 a 3-digit number by adding one more digit, and I can add the number 0 because it doesn't change the value of the number. Now I'm looking at this as if it was 941 and 950. I need to pick a number between 941 and 950. I'm just going to pick 942. But remember, there's decimal points after the 9s, so I'm going to put a decimal point after the 9, and I just found a number in between the two that were given. Here's my last one. I need a number between 7.24 and 7.25. They're both 3 digits long. What I'm going to do is add a 0 to make the digits longer on each number, but not change the value. Looking at this one as 7,240 and 7,250. What would be a number between those two? I'm thinking of 7,246. Again, there are decimals after the 7, so I'm going to put a decimal after the 7, and I have my number between.